that contentious finance bill that was passed by the National Assembly, where, despite the controversial finance bill, and members of the National Assembly have passed that bill despite a spirited move by the opposition to reject some of the taxation proposals. Now, economic analysts are now asking Kenyans to cut down on unnecessary expenditure and brace for an even higher cost of living. And as our business reporter Jimmy Mbogo now tells us, job cuts, inflation and higher transportation costs are yet to characterize the next financial year.
Want us to operate on subsidy? You guys want us to operate on...
The passing of the finance bill now means that salaried Kenyans will have to contend with a lower take-home pay, with key taxes set to dent their pockets. This comes from an additional deduction of 1.5% to be channeled towards the affordable housing scheme, an increase in NHIF contribution. This will further be impacted by the increase on VAT on fuel to 16%. With higher fuel prices comes higher transport cost, and the higher cost of producing and transporting goods, a price that Kenyans will pay on the shelves as they look to meet their daily needs for different commodities.
The impact is going to be, in my view, shocking because some of those costs, unfortunately, the negative side of this, those costs will just be loaded directly to the cost of the commodities that have been touched. For example, we expect an average 12 increase on the pump price of the fuel. If your town is selling maybe petrol at 180 shillings, it will push it to 192. If your town is already selling it, maybe it's very, very far-flung, selling it at 185 or 190. Might be go up beyond 200.
Nyangor further warned salaried Kenyans to brace themselves for lower purchasing power, saying that the implementation of the finance bill will have a huge impact on their salaries, even as he fears that the labor market could see more hemorrhaging in the near future as employers look for ways to reduce their cost.
You're probably going to get a little bit less than you got last month, and this has nothing to do with the employer. It just means that the more will go into the government in those forms. The disposable income is going to be affected. You're going to have less money. Yes, let's put it directly like that.
Among the taxes that the finance bill had proposed is the doubling of VAT on fuel from 8% to 16%, imposition of 1.5% on housing levy, an increase in pay-as-you-earn for salaried Kenyans who earn more than 500,000 shillings from 30% to 32.5%, while those earning more than 800,000 will have to pay an additional 5% in pay, among others. Despite the revenue-raising measures by the government, Nyangor argues that for the measures to bear fruits, the government will need to do a lot more in curbing wastage and harmonizing government expenditure.
We are seeing a situation where the budget to the big offices has been increased. There is no particular explanation for that. We have seen an increase in the foreign travel, for that matter. We have seen an increase in unnecessary expenditure and reduction on, for example, capital expenditure. The development side, the budgets seem not to be increased. So if you're increasing recurrent expenditure, then you are increasing taxes. It's difficult to convince anybody that you want to make the cost of living better.
As the country awaits for President William Ruto to assent to the finance bill of 2023, Kenyans are being advised to cut down on all unnecessary expenditures in order to survive the high cost of living that is about to double. Jimmy Mbogo, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, meanwhile, the Azimio la Umoja